Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to build an automation that sends you a daily briefing using a Notion database. Now, if you're like me and you're a huge fan of Notion, then you're going to find this video useful. So stick around and I'll show you how to integrate n8n with your favorite productivity tool. Let's go. Alright, so let's start with a bit of a demo here. So this is the workflow that we're going to be building today. So the way this one works is that it's triggered by a schedule. So this one goes off every morning. And then this is the official built-in node for Notion within n8n. So we just configure this, and then this node will take all the items, put it into one, and then set it to the field, which creates a list, and then sends it to your email. So let's execute this now and see how this works. Boom, there we go. Let's go ahead and check our email. And there it is right here. So I just called it for the subject, your daily briefing. You open it, and then you just see the list of things that you have to do. So let's go ahead and set this up from scratch just to see how it's built. All right, now here we are with a blank canvas starting from scratch. Now, unlike the last video where we built each node one by one, we're going to do something a little bit faster. What we're going to do here is import from a template. So the cool thing about n8n is that you can import templates. So a lot of people share their workflow templates and they save it to what's called a JSON file. Then you just import as a file, put it in your workflow. It sets up just the groundwork for the workflow, and you can build it off from there. So let's go ahead and do that right now. All right, so this is my repository where I keep all of my templates. I'll put a link to this page in the description below. But right here you can see that it just has welcome to my workflow repository. I have the table of contents. The first one here is the Notion daily briefing. This is the one we're going to be building. There's just a brief description of how it works. So what we're going to do here, you're going to scroll up, you're going to look for Notion daily briefing. So you select that one. All right, once you're here, this is what a JSON file looks like. If you don't know what JSON is, it's just basically how the templates are built in n8n. So what you're going to do is you're going to select all and then just copy. And then from here, you're just going to paste it into a blank notepad. So you're just going to paste in there. We're going to save. Just going to save it to my desktop. You can name it whatever you like. I'm just going to call it Notion demo. And then just make sure you put .json at the end to make it a JSON file. Click save. You can close that. Now you're going to go back into your blank workflow. Now from here, you're going to click on these three dots in the top right. Click on that. Select import from file. All right, so after you select that, here's our demo right there. So we're just going to click on that, and there we go. Perfect. Now, the reason why some of these are showing up as red is we just had to finish setting up the credentials. Now, if you followed along with the last video and you set up the Gmail node, if you just double click, it'll just open up right into the Gmail account that you created. Right away, it'll just detect it and connect your credentials with that as soon as you open it. Go back. Now for Notion, we're going to have to set up our credential. Now it's going to do the same thing as it did with the Gmail node. That's because I already have Notion credentials set up. But what we're going to do here is we're going to create new credentials. So I'm just going to create new credential. All right. Now what we're going to get from our Notion integration dashboard, which I'll show you in a bit, we're going to get what is called an integration secret. This is what connects our n8n workflow to our Notion database. So before we continue on with this node right here, we're going to move on to our integration dashboard in Notion and get all the information we need to start that connection. All right, so here we are in our Notion integration dashboard. I'll put a link into this page in the description below as well. It's a little tricky to find. I got it from the n8n documentation on setting up credentials. But here it is. I already have some integrations here, but let's create a new one. So I'm going to click on new integration. All right, perfect. Now from here, this is pretty easy to set up. You're just gonna give it a name. I'm just gonna call it n8n-demo. Now here you're gonna associate it to your Notion workspace. So I'm just gonna pick the one called business. That's just the one I'm gonna use. The rest can stay the same. Let's click on save. Now you're gonna get this pop-up right here. Integration successfully created. Now this is where we're gonna configure the settings for it. So go ahead and click on that. Now you're going to be taken into the settings for the integration you just created. This is where we're going to get our integration secret. Now what you're going to do is you're going to click on show here. It's going to change the copy. You're just going to click on copy and that saves it into your clipboard. So just go ahead and do that. The rest can just stay the same. Now you don't have to click on save here. Just click on integration. And there we go. There's our n8n demo. You can always go back in here and then just always grab your integration secret in case you lose it. But it still is a good idea to save it somewhere with your other secrets. All right, so I've copied the integration secret into my clipboard. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to paste it right here where it says integration secret. And I'm going to click on save. Boom, there we go. Connection tested successfully. All right, so now we have our credentials set up. I'm just going to name this here demo. Save one more time. And close. All right, so now this is set up. We're almost done. We just have to do one more thing. We're going to have to go into our Notion database and just set up the connection with the integration that you just created. All right, so here I just made a test database for this video right here. This is the database that I'm going to connect with our integration. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to click on the three dots on the very top right here. You're going to go to where it says connections. Now if you go to add connection, we'll just scroll down a bit. Oh, there it is. There's the integration that I just created. So I'm going to select that n8n demo. Click confirm, and there we go. That's pretty much all connected. We have our Notion integration connected to the database, and then we have our credentials set up with n8n, so it's all connected and ready to go. Now let's finish setting this up. What I'm going to do here, I'm just going to put in some test data. For example, I'm just going to do walk dogs, get groceries, and let's see, study. Just anything here for testing purposes. I have a category section here. We'll do a little bit more with that later, but let's just test this out with this blank data here. All right, let's go back to n8n. So now this is the node. We're going to finish setting this up right here. On the database section, you're going to select this drop down here. And there we go. This is the YouTube test database that we just connected with the integration, which is associated to that integration secret. So that's why it shows up here. So we're going to click on that. All right. Let's leave it like that for now. And then just to finish setting this up, you're just going to select, enter in the email address that you're going to send this to. So erase the just the info that was there before and put in your email address. So I'm going to put in my test email address. So v.yt08@gmail.com. All right, that's pretty much all you have to do. Let's go back, save, and let's give it this test just to see how it works. So right here, going to hover over the trigger, click on execute workflow. Boom, looks like that works. So let's go ahead and check our mailbox. I just got it right there. Click on that. And there we go. Get groceries, walk dogs, and study. Awesome. All right, so for myself, I just have it set up the way it is right now. It just sends me the list. But you can get a little bit more detailed with the Notion node. Now within n8n, you can do a whole lot of things with Notion. You can get pages, create pages, do all sorts of things with database. So let's do a little bit more here with our Notion node right here, just to demonstrate that you can do a little bit more with n8n and Notion. So this time we're going to use our categories. So right here I just have set up a multi-selector in Notion, completed and not completed. So let's say walk dogs, I did that, and let's say groceries, I did that, and I haven't studied yet. Let's just add another one here. I'm just gonna call it cook dinner. Let's just say not completed. All right, so here are categories. The way I'm gonna set this up is I'm gonna have my workflow check the categories, see what's completed and not completed, and only display what's not completed. So just to show me what needs to be done in the email. That's just for an example. So if we go back into our workflow right here, we're going to open up our Notion node. Okay, now from here, you're going to select filter. You're going to click on build manually. All right, now where it says must match, actually, I'm just going to leave that there. Let's go add a condition. Property. Now we're going to see category right here because we had that set up in that database. So I'm going to select category. Condition. Now I'm going to say contains not completed. So that's what I want to display. You can put completed or not, or it doesn't really matter what you put. Just select the one that you want n8n to grab. So I'm going to tell n8n to get everything in my database that has a category of not completed. All right, so there we go. There's that. I'm just gonna go back to Canvas. I'm gonna do save. All right, now let's run that one more time. Boom, there we go. Let's check our email. Just got it. And there we go. It has study and cook dinner. And then if you check back in our database, right here, it shows study and cook dinner. Those are the ones that are not completed. And if you check right here, exactly, study, cook dinner, those are the ones that are not completed. Perfect. All right, so there you have it. There is your Notion daily briefing automation set up with n8n. All right, so let's break this down one by one just to see how this works. This workflow is executed by a scheduled trigger. As it's set up right here, you can change this however you like, but right now it's set up with in days to make it daily, once a day, every morning at 8 a.m. All right, so this is the Notion database that we just set up. One more time, it's connected with our credentials, the demo one that I just created. It's set to get many database pages. So this is a database it's getting the pages from. And this is the filter that we just set up. So it's grabbing all the pages, categorized right here. So we're going to select category that contains everything that says not completed. So this just grabs everything. It's categorized as not completed. All right. So after that, when it grabs the different pages, it grabs them as individual items. So let's say I had maybe 5 things here not completed. It'll say 5 items. Now this is why I have this node set up here. So this is our aggregate node. So this just grabs all the items into one list, and then this set field takes that one item, formats it nicely into a list ready for the email. And then finally in the Gmail node, we have it set up to send to our email address. So send message, there's our Gmail credential. And then this is just the format that I have it set up to. You can adjust this however you like. This is already written nicely here for you. Now, if you haven't set up your Gmail credential yet, I'll put a link in the description to the first video. That's where I show you how to set up your Gmail credentials and your Gmail API with your Google Cloud account. But there you have it. That's how this is set up. It's a nice simple automation. Nothing too fancy, no AI agent or anything like that. Just a small, helpful Notion daily briefing. Sends it right to your email. This can be helpful if you have maybe different people working on the same database and they're changing all the information, and then it just sends you a daily email just to see where you're at. But of course, as I showed you here, you can do a lot more. How I have the filters here with the categories. You can add more conditions, more filters, just fool around with it, see how much you can do with your Notion database. But other than that, hope you found it useful. Go ahead and give this a try. If you run into any issues or have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll try my best to reply to all of them. But in the meantime, thank you for watching, and happy automating.